Yeah. Good evening, sir. Okay. Hope all of you gone through the previous class topic. That is, we discussed the various type of engineering materials, right? In the previous class, metals, non-metals, composites, ceramics, and polymers, and different type of properties. Especially, we discussed some mechanical properties. So these are the topics we discussed in the previous class. Okay. Yeah. So today we are going to enter into the new chapter, that is crystal structure. I already gave you in the first class, I gave you an idea about the crystal structure, right? What is a crystal structure? Yes. Ah. Can anybody? Crystal structure? Yeah, Pradeep is typing. Yeah, 3D arrangement of atoms. Yes, three-dimensional arrangement of atoms. Yeah, that is X, Y, Z axis is there for representing the arrangement of atoms. Yes, right. So, how these atoms are held together inside a molecule or inside a material? That is because of certain forces, right? You know the structure of atom, how the atoms are placed, or structure of atom. That is, you know that there exists a center part. Yes, we call that as nucleus. Yes, Saurav. So here, yeah, good evening, Saurav. So here there exist two items. One is neutron and other is proton. This proton is positively charged. Surrounding that, yeah, right. Surrounding that, orbits are there where electrons are arranged. So these things is known to you. And these two atoms are there. Yeah, I already got an answer from one of you. That is, these two atoms are held together by means of certain process called as bonding. Got it. That is by means of electrostatic forces. That is, this outermost electron is attracted by or shared by some nucleus of another atom. Hence, they form a bond. Okay. And how much energy is required to break this? I want some energy. After bonding, I want some energy to break this one. That is called as bonding energy. Clear to all? Energy required to break a bond is called as bonding energy. And it is familiar to you the some of the bonds you have learned in junior classes. Yes, let us refresh that. That is, basically we are going to learn three types of bonds. One is ionic bond. Second is covalent bond. And third one is metallic bond. These two names are familiar to you all, isn't it? Ionic and covalent is familiar to all. Yes, okay. Metallic, some people have heard about that. Okay. Let us discuss what is ionic bond. That is taken place, this bond is taken place between a metal and a non-metal. Got it? What is the speciality of a metal? Yes, free electrons are there in the outermost shell. What is the speciality of a non-metal? There exists a deficiency of one more electron, of deficiency of one electron. For what? For making it octet or equilibrium So to make it equilibrium, it wants one more electron. What about in this case of metal? It has to lose this one electron to make it octet. Octet means, yes, when the outermost shell of an atom is in equilibrium, when the count is 8. When the count is 8, then means it is equilibrium. Since the count is 8, we call that as octet. Oct means 8. Octet. Got it? Okay. Or we have to simply say that, yes, if there exists 8 electrons in its outermost shell, we will say that, yes, that atom is in equilibrium. But see the problem here. For example, the case of metal, I took a sodium atom. The sodium has 11 electrons. So how it is arranged? Say, 1 minute. You can take the whiteboard. So there exists here the bonding is taken place here. How this bonding is taken place? I told you that the sodium Na has how many electrons? How many electrons I told? 11 electrons, right? 11 electrons are there. Okay. Yes. I already got the answer. Yes. That is how it is arranged. Yes. Good evening, Abhijit. We just started the class. We are discussing about the bonds. You can join. Okay. So here the sodium atom has, yeah, one first shell carries 2 electrons. 1, 2. The second shell carries 8 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But one more electron is there, isn't it? Hence, it requires how many electrons to make it octet? It requires 8 electrons. So that seems to be difficult, right? That seems to be difficult. So another atom, chlorine is there. Yes, chlorine is there, where there exists 17 electrons. 1, 7. 17 electrons. So how it is arranged? 2, 8, so 10, isn't it? 10 is over. Then 7. How many electrons is required? One more electron is required, right? One more electron is required to make it octet. So what shall it do? The sodium is ready to lose this electron and the chlorine is ready to accept it. Hence they form an agreement. That agreement leads the form of what? Ionic bond. Got it? And based on that, yes, you can see the figure here. What is the speciality of this one? Here you can see that the sodium chlorine bond is there, here is there, like that it is arranged. Okay. And the speciality of this is that if I take a sodium atom, which charged? Since one electron is lost by that, what is the charge of this one? This is positive charge. Yes. What about this chlorine? Since it accepts one electron, it is negatively charged. Okay. So here you can see that if I take a positive ion, if I take a positive ion, surrounding that, if you check me, yes, this is chlorine, that is minus, 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 minus. That is one positive is surrounded by minus charge. If I take a negatively charged, see, if I take a negatively charged chlorine atom, see, if I take this one, see, we can see that the positive charges is surrounding that. Yes, that means no. That means the positive and negative charges are uniformly distributed. Am I right? The positive and negative charges are uniformly distributed. If I go to this side, means okay, the positive and negative charges are there. If I go to this side, the positive and negative charges are there. It is uniformly distributed. Hence, we call this type of bonding result in non-directional. That means it doesn't have a specific direction. Is this corner has a negative or a positive charge corner? No, we can't say like that, because here the positive charge is there, chlorine, which produces negative charge. So it is uniformly distributed. Hence we have to say that it is non-directional in nature. Got it? So what is ionic bond? All of you give me. What is ionic bond? Ionic bond is formed by, is it sharing? No. See, the metal is releasing or losing one electron, and non-metal, which is chlorine, is accepting that. Got it? So the bond, this type of ionic bond is formed in between metallic and non-metallic material. That is one point. Second point is what? Is it by means of sharing or by means of transfer of electrons? Is it by means of sharing or by transfer of electrons? Yeah, by means of transfer of electrons. From whom to whom? From whom to whom? Yeah, by means of transfer of electrons from whom to whom? From which place to which place? Yes, from metallic to non-metallic materials, right? And what is another property which we discussed? It is non-directional in its nature. What is the meaning of that? It is saying that it is non-directional in nature. What is the meaning of that? The positive and negative charges are equally distributed. Hence, it is called as non-directional. Am I right? The positive and negative charges are uniformly distributed. Hence, it is non-directional in nature. Shall I ask you one doubt? Is it a good conductor of electricity? Before that, for conducting electricity, what is required? For conducting electricity, what is required? Free electrons are required. So question is there any free electron now? Yes, all of you agreed. So is it a good conductor? It is not a good conductor, right? So it is a bad conductor of electricity. Why? Because it doesn't have any free electron. So these are the 3 points. Clear to all? Yes, fine. Next bond is which one? Covalent bond. Okay. So I take a material, say water itself I am going to take. Okay, water. That is H2O. How many electrons are there in the hydrogen? Therefore, hydrogen, yes, that is a poor one, isn't it? It has only one electron in the outermost shell. To make that hydrogen equilibrium, it requires one more electron. Since it has only one orbit, and that is a S shell, it requires only one more electron to make it octet. So is it ready to lose this electron? No, it is not ready. Similarly, oxygen has 16 electrons. So how many electrons will be there in the outermost shell? 2, 8, 6. Isn't it? How many is required? 2 is required, right? 2 more is required. Okay. So oxygen is also not ready to use its electrons because it requires only 2 for making it octet. So let us see how it is going to do that. Here you can see that the blue color atom is of a blue color electron is for hydrogen. And here you can see that blue is shared with oxygen and the red is of oxygen. The red is shared with hydrogen. Hence hydrogen is satisfied. See this hydrogen and this hydrogen is satisfied. Why it is more, why the oxygen is making company with the two hydrogen? Why oxygen is making company with the two hydrogen here? Because then only it will get two electrons, right? See, the oxygen is also sharing. Yeah, oxygen is also sharing the electrons of whom? The hydrogen. Electrons of hydrogen is shared by this oxygen, isn't it? Here you can see that. Okay, this type of bond, which is formed by how? Sharing or transfer? Yes, sharing of electrons is called as covalent bond. Covalent bond. Okay. What about the charge here? It is negatively charged, isn't it? Is there any positive charge here? No. What is the charge over here? This is positively charged, right? Is there any negative charge here? No negative charge is there, isn't it? What about the charges over here? This is negatively charged. So is it non-directional in nature? No. This side is of positive charge, isn't it? These two sides are of positively charged, and these sides are of negatively charged. So we have to say that the covalent bond is directional in nature. Why? The positive and negative charges are not uniformly distributed. Clear to all? Okay. And next, what about the conduction of electricity? Is there any free electrons? No free electrons are there, isn't it? No free electrons are there. Am I right? Everything is shared. The free electrons of hydrogen is shared with this oxygen because they have the deficiency. No free electrons are there, isn't it? So, is it a good conductor? No, it is a bad conductor of electricity. So, these are the 3 points. Clear to one? First one is this type of bond is formed by the sharing of electrons between two atoms. Second is it is directional in nature because the positive and negative charges are but positive and negative charges are not uniformly distributed. Okay. Next is what? It is a bad conductor of electricity. Okay. Now the last bond. That is what? Metallic bond. Let us see how it forms. Yes, here you can see one figure. These are two atoms. First atom is there, second atom is there. What do you feel now? Here you can see that the electrons are on one side. Here also you can see that electrons are on one side. What happens to this one? Yes, there exists some free space is there, isn't it? So it is ready to occupy this space and make it company with this positive charge, and hence forms a bond there. Due to the electrostatic force of attraction between the positive and negative charges, there forms a bond there between the atoms 1 and 2, right? This type of bond formed due to the presence of free electrons in its outermost shell. See, the free electrons are there. Here also free electrons are there. So if there exists another atom, means that will also make in company. That bond is formed due to the presence of what? Presence of free electrons in its outermost shell. That type of bond is called as what? Metallic bond. Formed due to the presence of free electrons, or simply due to the electrostatic force of attraction between the positive and the negative charges. And question is it directional? No, it is non-directional because what is the speciality? All the side is of negative charge, isn't it? All side is of negative charge. Full side is negative charge. It is non-directional in nature. It is surrounded by negative cloud. It is cloud of electrons are there. So it is only one charge is there. Hence it is non-directional. Non-directional in nature. Clear to all? One more thing. Is it a good conductor of electricity? Yes. Why? Why? Because there exists lot of free electrons. Because lot of free electrons are there. Yes. Now again we can conclude. I want your help to conclude. Okay. When did you change this? Okay, Viraji, wait. It will be clear after this conclusion. Viraji is asking me that what is the difference between this covalent bond and the ionic bond? Let us see. So I am going to write first ionic bond, then covalent bond, then metallic bond. Question is, how the bonding is taking place in the case of ironing? Yes, by means of transfer of electrons. Transfer of electrons. From whom to whom? From metal to non-metal. Okay, from metal to non-metal. Example. Yes, NaCl. Who is metal here? Na is the metal here. Yes, right. Next is, right, good. Next is covalent bond. How it is formed? How the bonding formed here? Yes, by means of sharing. Sharing of electrons. Fine. Example. Yes, H2O. See, you can use, listen carefully, you have to check. Cl 2. Can I choose? Yes. Okay. Let us see how it is. How many electrons are there in the chlorine? How many electrons are there for chlorine? 17, right? That means 2, 8, 7. 7 electrons are there in the outermost shell. Okay. 7 electrons are there in the outermost shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is not ready to lose this electron. Similarly, I take another chlorine also. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It also requires one more electron. So what shall it do? Yes, they try to share. Got it? Hence form Cl2. Chlorine bond is formed. Hence we can include this also under what? Covalent bond. Clear to all? Pradeep? Yes. Next is. Similarly, H2 you can include in the covalent bond. Okay. Next is, what about the metallic bond? How the bonding is occur in metallic bond? By means of electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction. What is that? Positive, negative attraction. Yes. That is how it occurs because of the presence of, yeah, right. Because of the presence of electron cloud. Electron cloud. Okay. Next is nature. Is it, what about the directional nature of the ionic bond? Yes, non-directional. Non-directional. What about the case of a covalent bond? Yes, directional. Yes. What about metallic bond? Non-directional. Yes. Right. Then, regarding the conduction, what about the ionic bond? Metallic, which happens between metals and no. Metallic is happening between metals. No non-metal is there. Okay, fine. Next is, yeah. Where is conduction? Regarding the conduction, ionic bond, no conductor. Okay. What about the covalent bond? No, bad conductor. What about the metal? Yes, it is a good conductor. So these charts you have to uh, keep it in mind to answer the questions of differentiate between ionic bond or covalent bond or describe covalent bond. Then you can use this chart. Clear to all? Okay. Fine. Now we are moving to another section. That is, we are switching to the atomic structure. Sorry, crystal structure. Okay. So I shall take one. You can see the atoms are arranged here like this. Can all of you see the whiteboard? You can see a lot of bubbles there. These bubbles are atoms. But electricity can pass. Sorry, I can't read that out. What is that? Who asked me that out? Yeah, Pradeep, please ask it again. H2O, yeah. H2O is a bad conductor in the sense it is a covalent bond. But see, the water, the pure water, if you take means that is a poor conductor. But in the case of a water, it is not only the H2O only is there. There exists lot of minerals and those things are there. That that make it conductor. Got it? Yes. Lot of impurities are there inside that. Got it? Okay. Fine. So here, lot of atoms are here like this in the form of bubbles here. Okay. And you have to arrange this in a 3D space. By means of what? By means of certain imaginary lines. Such a line is not present in an atomic structure. Or if you take a material, iron, if you take an iron material, you can't see certain lines like that. Got it? So those lines are drawn by metallurgists or scientists for proper study. Okay, those lines, these imaginary lines are used to make up a 3D structure there. Got it? These imaginary lines to form a 3D structure or to form a crystal structure is called as phase lattice. So I am going to join. So I join the center of atoms like this, and hence I form a square like this. Again, I join the bottom part by means of certain lines. The center of atoms are joined. Yes. And now I again join this center of atoms and this center of atoms. And I form a three-dimensional space there. Isn't it? I generated a cube there. Got it? This is what we call the crystal structure. You can see that a three-dimensional structure is formed. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. This is what we call the what crystal structure. Three-dimensional arrangement of atoms in a space. See, first of all, you have seen that a lot of atoms are arranged in a space. That I arranged in a three-dimensional structure. That is called as crystal structure. And these lines, imaginary lines, are called as what? Phase lattice. Up to this clear? Yeah. Okay. Shall I move forward? Okay, fine. Now, again, I am doing the same procedure. See, this center is joining this one. And again, this is to be joined here, this one. Yes, here, this one. Again, I got a cube. Isn't it? Again, I got a cube. We can say that yes, two cubes are formed there. One cube. And we can see that this molecule, this entire material, the building block is what? Cube. The building block is cube. This building block of this entire piece of Saurav. Saurav, piece of? No, 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 no. The space between the atoms, no name is there. Okay. No name is there for the space between the atoms. That is, atoms are arranged on a space. Free space. I want to make up a three-dimensional arrangement. For that, what I do? I take a pen and draw some lines to join the atom. That lines are imaginary. Such a line is not present inside the atom. You have an imaginary line. That imaginary line, which is used to make up a crystal structure, that is three-dimensional structure, is called a phase lattice. Got it? This line, say AB, that line is a phase lattice. So by means of that line, I can create two cubes there. If I again draw again one more cube is generated. Okay, see one more cube is generated. So can I say this cube is the building block of this entire crystal? The cube is the building block of this crystal. This building block is what we call as unit cell. Unit cell. The building block of a crystal structure, is called as unit cell. So what is the shape of unit cell for this structure? What is the shape of unit cell for this example? Yeah, cube. Clear? Okay. So we learned here what is mean by crystal structure. That is the three dimension of arrangement of atoms in a space. Second we learn is phase lattice. Imaginary line joining the centers of atoms is called a phase lattice. The repeated units in a crystal structure, you can see that three units are repeated. That is called a unit cell. Crystal structure. Don't compare with the syllabus and those things. Okay, we can compare with that syllabus at the end of the class. And after completing the entire syllabus, we can check. Got it? I made certain plans there. That's why you can't check which path I am teaching. Okay. For identification, you can use that teaching plan, the first class. Okay, I shall upload that teaching plan also. So based on that, we are moving. You can cross check with that. Fine. So here, these are the building blocks. These are the building blocks which forms the unit cell. Repetitive unit is called the unit cell. Clear to all? Next. Next, I am going to teach you some parameters. See here, what is this one? A cube. What does that represent? This is an unit cell. Can I? Yes, this is an unit cell. All of you please engage. This is an unit cell. Okay. Here, I am going to mark certain angle. See here, the angle between y and z is what? Angle between, have you seen that? This is y-axis, this is z-axis. Yes, y and z is having the angle alpha. Got it? Z and x is having the angle theta. And x and y is having the angle gamma. Okay? Question is, in the case of a cube, what is the value of alpha, beta, gamma? All are 90 degrees. Can all of you agree? So I can write like this. Clear? Next, these angles are called as interaxial angles. Interaxial angles. Got it? Interaxial angles. Next is, one more thing is there. Interatomic space. Interatomic space. That I shall clear. Interatomic space. You can see that, say, one atom is here and another atom is here. And the length along through the x-axis is represented by A. Length along through the y-axis is represented by B. Length along through the z-axis is represented by C. Question is, what is the value of A, B, C for that cube? All are equal. Can I say? A equal B equal C equal A. Isn't it? Yes. Based on these parameters, listen carefully, based on these parameters, this crystal structure is classified into 7. Got it? Based on these parameters, the crystal structure is classified into 7. Which parameters? Which parameters? Based on interatomic phase and based on interaxial angles, it is classified into 7. Yes. Is it clear? Don't say like that. Interaxial angles and interatomic phase. Use that term. Okay, interaxial angles and interatomic phase. Okay. Based on that, it is classified into 7 crystal systems. Crystal systems. Crystal systems. Okay. Sometimes the question will be asked, what is the difference between crystal structure and a crystal system? Can you answer? Differentiate between crystal structure and a crystal system. Can you answer? Three-dimensional arrangement of atoms is called as crystal structure. Agreed. All of you agreed, isn't it? What is a crystal system then? All of you please engage. Viraji, Jagadish. Yes. Based on what? Based on what property of unit cell? Based on based on the parameters. We have these parameters to system. Yeah. Which are the parameters? Based on the parameters like A, B, C, alpha, beta, gamma, interatomic spaces, interaxial angles. Yes. That systems are the crystal system is classified into 7 crystal systems. That you have to write to score 2 to 4 marks. Right? Clear to all? Okay, fine. On the basis of intersection angles, yeah, interaxial basis, the crystal is the 7 types. That is crystal system. Good. Next thing, let us learn crystal system. I shall give you a trick to learn that. All of you listen. Chief Technical Officer. You all know that, isn't it? Chief Technical Officer is Mr. HT. Take the capital letters. Chief Technical Officer is Mr. HT. All of, please take that capital letters. C T O M R H T. Right? Okay. CTO MRHT, Chief Technical Officer is Mr. HT. So that code is used to remember these first alphabet. Okay. Next is, I am going to write the full form. The first one, C, is familiar to you all. What is that C? Yeah, cubic. Okay. I am going to write cubic. Next, I am going to write the last one. Okay. I am going to write the last one. That is also representing 3 itself. The cube means what? It is representing the 3, isn't it? Cubic. That means 3. Again, this last T also represents the 3 itself. That is triclinic. Triclinic. Got it? That is tri means what? 3 itself. So easy to remember. Cubic, first and last you have to write first. That both represent 3. Cubic and tri. So after the 3, what will come next? 4. Another name for that 4? Tetra. Tetragonal. Clear? Tetragonal. Okay. Next one is ortho. Orthogonal. O stands for ortho. Orthogonal. Next is, so from here onwards, some changes are there. So that's why it is represented as monoclinic. Monoclinic. Some changes are there from this monoclinic. Next is rhombus. Rhombohedral. Rhombohedral. Next is hexagonal. So first one is CTO MRHT. You have to write first and last. Next comes tetra. Okay. Next is ortho, mono, rhombo. These 3 names you have to think. Hexagonal is familiar to all. Okay. Ortho, mono, rhombo. Now let us try once again. What are the alphabets? Give me the alphabet first. Yes. Yes. C T O M R H T. Yes, right. Then what you have to do first? First and last you have to write. Yes, first one is yes cubic. Fine. The last one is yes triclinic. Yeah, right. Triclinic. Next one. What about the second T? Yes, tetra. Then O. Yes, orthogonal. Then from here, yes, monoclinic. Next is R. Yes, rhombohedral. Next is yes, hexagonal. So all of you learned the name, the 7 crystal systems. All of you learned. Yes, fine. Now let us see what difference is there for this A, B, C, and alpha, beta, gamma. That is our villains, isn't it? So let us see what are the difference there. So here I shall give you one more trick. For the cubic, you know that is A equal B equal C, alpha equal beta equal gamma equal 90 degrees, right? The first one is known to us. Yes. Now I am jumping to the last one. Okay. I am jumping to the last one. Just opposite of cubic. Yes. Simply you can write A not equal to B, not equal to C. Alpha not equal to beta, not equal to gamma, not equal to 90 degrees. Very simple. So two are over. Clear? So first and last over. Next is okay. You can copy down the angles for next two. Alpha equals beta equals gamma equals 90 degrees. No changes there. Alpha equals beta equals gamma equals 90 degrees. No changes there. So change will be for what? Change will be for the edges. Okay. A equal B, not equal to C. What about the next one? Can you just A not equal to B, not equal to C. Clear? So 3 is over. For these three, the angles are same. The changes is only for interatomic space. A, B, C is same for this cubic. The second one, C not equal. For the third one, all are not equal. Clear? Okay. Next is, I am going to discuss the monoclinic. Okay. From here, I told you that from here onwards, some changes are there. That is, from here onwards, the angle is going to vary. From here onwards, the angle is going to vary. Let us see how. Say, the same interatomic space I am going to copy down here. A not equal to B, not equal to C. That same is copied. Angle is going to vary. Alpha equals beta equals 90 degrees. Gamma not equal to 90 degrees. Clear? So from here onwards, what angle is going to vary? Here, the same interatomic space itself is copied from orthogonal. Next, the same angle is copied to the next one for rhombohedral. Alpha equals beta equals 90 degrees. Gamma not equal to 90 degrees. Then what is the difference here? Rhombus. Rhombus means what? It is similar to what? In atomic space. Yes, similar to cubic. That is what? A equal to B equal to C. Sides are same. Got it? So that is the difference between the monoclinic and rhombohedral. What about the hexagonal? Hexagonal prism, you know. A equal to B. The height is differed, not equal to C. What about the angle? Alpha equals beta equals 90 degrees, but gamma equals 120 degrees. That is the difference. Now, it will be clear if we revise this once again. Let us see. So, for cubic, what is the A, B, C, and alpha, beta, gamma? Yes, all are equal. Okay, fine. Next is what? What you have to do next? Write the last one, right? All of you please engage. Write the last one, right? Yes, triclinic. What is the for the triclinic? What is the trick for triclinic? Yes, just opposite of cubic. A not equal to B, not equal to C. Alpha not equal to beta, not equal to gamma, not equal to 90 degree. Yes. Next for tetragonal, what shall we do? Tetragonal and orthogonal, I gave you one trick. What you have to copy down? What you have to copy down for tetra and ortho? Yes, you have to copy the angles, right? In the case of tetra and ortho, you have to copy the angles from cubic. Am I right? So simply copy the angles from the. So okay, Saurav, I am simply copying the angles from the cubic. You can simply copy, no problem is there. That is same up to ortho. Is it clear? So very easy, I can fill up this side. What about the case of the interatomic space? A, B, C. In the case of tetragonal, which is not equal, C is not equal. What about the case of ortho? All are not equal, right? All are not equal. All are not equal. Yes, both are not equal. Right. Good. Next is monoclinic. What you have to do next? What about the interatomic space? Wait. What about the interatomic space? A, B, C. What I have to copy? Same as ortho, right? Same as ortho, I have to copy. Agreed? A not equal to B, not equal to C, I copied. Okay. What about the angle? From here onwards, yes, angle will changing. Yeah, right. Alpha equals beta equals 90 degree. Yes, gamma not equal to 90 degree. Next question. Yes, clear. Next is rhombohedral. What you have to copy from mono? From mono, what you have to copy for rhombohedral? What you have to copy from monoclinic? In the case of rhombohedral, yes, angles are same as that of monoclinic, right? So same angle itself you can copy. 90 degree, gamma not equal to 90 degree. Then what about the interatomic space? From where you have to copy? Yeah, all are equal since it is rhombus, isn't it? A equal, B equal, C. From the cube you have to copy, right? Then for hexagonal, interatomic space, A, B, C. Give me the values of A, B, C. Hexagonal. A equal to B, not equal to C. Yes, agreed. A equal to B, not equal to C. What about the angle? Yes, gamma equals 120 degree. The rest two are 90 degree. Okay, fine. So is it clear to all? Yes, fine. Next, one more problem is also there. Again, these 7 systems are classified. Okay, recognize typing. Is it clear? Shall I move forward? What is ABC? Can anybody of you help me? What is ABC? Inter interatomic phase. Tirakana, that is see, I draw 4 atoms are there. See, I join these 2 atoms, and this is in parallel with whom? With the y-axis. That is B. Okay, and I draw this line. That is in parallel with whom? X-axis. That is A. I draw a vertical line. That is in parallel with whom? Z-axis. That is what? C. Got it? Okay, fine. So up to this clear? Now I am going to discuss These seven crystal systems are again classified. These seven, yeah, these seven crystal systems are again classified into 14. This 7 is again classified into 14 Bravais lattices. Bravais lattices. Bravais lattices means based on the position of atom. Based on position of atom. That is how the atoms are arranged. Based on that, it is again classified into 14. I shall make it clear. Let me draw a cube. Okay. One minute, 1 minute. Okay. So here you can see a cube there. Say, I am going to place the atom. Say, okay. Biranji is asking me the classification is based on what? Which one? Which one? This 14, right? Biranji 14, right? Yeah, okay, okay. Wait. I am coming to that. I just started only. I told you that again it is classified into 14. The 7 is classified into 14 based on the position of atoms. I told you like that. I am going to discuss what is the position of atoms. Okay. Here I arrange the atoms like this. Where it is arranged? Arranged at where? These atoms are arranged at where? At the corners. So that is one type. That is one type. See, the arrangement of atoms are arranged at the corners. That is one type. We call that as simple cubic or symbol. We call that as symbol. If the atoms are arranged at the corners, we call that as symbol. If it is a cubic structure, we call that as symbol cubic. If it is a hexagonal structure, we call that as symbol hexagonal. Clear? That is one. Next is atoms are arranged at the corners, and also one atom is I join say A and B. I join A and B. Mid of that, one atom is placed. That is where on the body diagonal, AB is what? Body diagonal, right? Body diagonal. On the at the midpoint of the body diagonal, one atom is placed. Okay, that atom is what? Body centered. Hence, we call this type of atom, that is atoms are at the corners, and also one of the atom is placed at the body center. That is what we call the body centered structure. If it is a cubic structure, we call that as if it is a cubic structure, we call that as body centered cubic structure. Got it? If it is a hexagonal structure, we call that as BCH. Clear? Body centered structure. So that is another classification. So simple body center. Next is atoms are arranged at the corners and atoms are arranged at the faces also. How many faces are there for this cube? faces are there. Okay. So the front face carries 1, back face carries 1, and this face carries another 1, this face carries another 1, and top face carries another 1, and bottom face carries another 1. This is what we call the face centered. If it is a cubic structure, we call that as FCC. If it is a hexagonal structure, we call that FCS. Got it? Next, one more is also there. Okay. Here, how many base faces are there? Base faces. That means the one face which is touched on the floor and other face is opposite to that of the floor are called as the base faces. So here, this is one base face. And another base face is which one? This is another base face. Base face. Or end face. Got it? Base or end face. We call that EF. EFC. In the case of end face cubic structure. That is, atoms are arranged at the corners. Along with that, atoms are arranged at the end faces also, like this. Got it? That is called as end face structure. So based on the position of atoms, it is classified into how many types? It is classified into, basically it is classified into 14 is there. That is the entire crystal system. Basically, how many types are there? Based on the position of atoms, 4 is there. First one is simple. Okay. No. Top and bottom. Okay, Pradeep. We usually call the end faces as top and bottom. Okay. Yeah. Symbol. Next is what? Symbol is only for the corner. Next is what? Yeah. BC. What is that? Body centered. Okay. Where the body diagonal carries one atom. Next is what? All of you please engage. FC. What is that? Yeah. That is atoms are arranged at the faces also. Okay, fine. Next is what? EC. Yeah, EC. What is that? EF. End face centered. Yeah. End face. Centered. Okay. Clear to one? Okay. Now, based on this position of atoms, the entire 7 crystal systems are classified into 14. Is it now clear to all how that 14 classifications are arranged? Yes, fine. Now let us see what are the 14. Okay, let us write what it is. Give me that short code. The 7 crystal system short code. Yeah, CTOMRHT. Okay, please fill up. C stands for, yes, cubic. C stands for secondary. Okay, last T is for triclinic. Fine. Last T is triclinic. Okay, second T is for, yeah, tetragonal. Okay, tetragonal. Then O stands for, okay, orthogonal. Okay, M stands for, yes, monoclinic. Then R stands for, Yeah, rhombohedral. H stands for, yes, hexagonal. Okay, fine. Okay, okay, fine. Next is, give me the interatomic space first. Okay, interatomic space for cubic. A equal B equal C. For tetra, yeah, for tetra, yes, A equal to B, not equal to C. Okay, orthogonal, yes, A not equal to B, not equal to C. Fine. Monoclinic, yes, monoclinic, monoclinic. Same has to be copied, right? The same as ortho. The same has to be copied. Alpha not equal, sorry. A not equal to B, not equal to C. Fine. Yes. Next is rhombo. All are equal. Yeah. A equal to B, equal to C. Fine. Hexa. Yes. A equal to B, not equal to C. Yes. Triclinic. Yes. All are not equal. Yes. A not equal to B, not equal to C. Fine. Next is axial angles. Alpha, beta, gamma. In the case of cube, it is same. That angle can be copied up to where? Uh, that angle can be copied up to where? Up to ortho, right? Up to ortho we can copy. Okay, I am going to copy. Next is what? For mono. Yes. Alpha equal beta, not equal to alpha equal to beta equal to 90 degree, and gamma not equal to 90 degree. Okay, fine. Right. Next is, what about the rhombo? Same, right? Same as above. Yes. Alpha equal beta equal 90 degree, gamma not equal to 90 degree. What about the case of hexa? Yes, gamma equals 120 and the rest is 90. Yes. What about tri? All are not equal. Yes. Okay. So that part over. Next is, based on the position of the atom, it is again classified. It is again classified into how many numbers? 14. We call that name as name for that 14. Yes, Bravais lattices. Bravais lattices. Okay. For the cubic, for the first one, there exists 3. Okay, listen carefully. For the cubic, there exists 3. That is simple cubic, body centered cubic, and face centered cubic. So which one is not there? End centered is not there, right? Rest everything, all the 3 is there for this one. Next is what? Next is tetra. For this tetra, one easy thing I shall give you. All have symbol. Okay? All have symbol. Symbol is common to all. Symbol is all have this symbol. That means 7 is over. Isn't it? The 7 is over. Since all it carries, it is 7 is over. The remaining is how much? 7 is remaining. Out of that, 2 is over. You got it what I am saying? All having the symbol that is arranged at the corners is all for that. Next is body centered and face centered is taken by cubic. Yeah, out of 14, 7 is over. And from the cubic, yes, the 2 is also taken. So it becomes 9. Okay. Next is for the end centered. Sorry. Next is which one? After C, cubic tetragonal comes. So simple tetragonal and next is body centered tetragonal. BCT. Body centered tetragonal. Got it? Simple tetragonal and body centered tetragonal. That is next one. Next is for the orthogonal. Simple orthogonal, body centered orthogonal, face centered orthogonal, end centered orthogonal. That means all the 4 are there, isn't it? 3 plus 1, 4 plus 2, 6. That is 6 plus 7. How much? 13 over. Right? Am I right? Yes, 1 is left there. So that we have to find out. Next is which one? End centered here, this one. ECO, end centered. Monoclinic, yes, okay. Simple monoclinic and end centered monoclinic. End centered monoclinic. So hence 14 over. Next is which one? Simple rhombohedral. This is simple hexagonal. This is simple triclinic. Clear one? Once again we can check. CPOMRHC. Okay. For cubic, what about the Bravais lattices? How many is there? So first of all, we can write all for yes can be written simply for all. So I shall write that. So for the cubic, which are the remaining? B is there and F is there, isn't it? Okay. Then for tetragonal, 2. Which are they? First one is simple. Second one is no, not it is not end centered. It is body centered. Okay. I shall give one trick. Okay. Orthogonal. Orthogonal for how many is there? All the 4 is there for ortho, isn't it? All the 4 is there. B, F, E. Next is for mono, E comes. See, for easy to remember, say 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? So the second one, here the 2 members are there having, that is 2 and 4 having the 2. Am I right? The 2 and 4 having the 2. The 1 have 3 and 3 have 4. So 2 and 4 have the 2. We know the alphabetic order A, B, C, D, E. So the 2 B. Okay. And for the fourth one, next one is E. Got it. So you can avoid the confusion whether it is end centered or body centered. If it is 2 means that is B, body centered. Clear? So these are the 14 Bravais lattices. So have you learned today itself? Yes, fine. Okay. So I think we can stop for today. And on the next class, small test will be there. I shall send the question papers. Okay. And you have to submit that before next class. Questions will be the topic up to what we discussed. Actually, this 15, what is there? One doubt was asked there. Let us check. Yes, they are saying that one is extra. Let us check. How many S is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, in book. Okay, okay. Don't get confused with all the resources. You follow one of it. Got it. You can follow the slide. That is better. So here, this slide, everything is there. That is up to the today's class topic. Everything is there. Yes, here it is written there. Got it. And here my references is also noted there. These are my references. Okay. Not only in the case of metal, it is used in other materials also, non-metals also. Okay. Examples are written there. This note is sufficient. Since you are all working people, I include that this slide is prepared for you to study, you to use as a study material. And my aim is to your learning process must also be done inside the class itself. That is my aim. Hope you already learned this entire processor once, right? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Bye all. See you next class. Good night.